Hey, welcome to my journey and to another Dollar Tree Dinners. I have 3 yummy recipes for you this week. That's right, we did 3 recipes. And before we get into the cooking, I just want to take just a real quick minute, if I can, to let you know, if you're new here, my channel started out as a weight loss channel, and I'm still in a weight loss journey. I had gastric bypass a year ago, almost a year ago. But these Dollar Tree dinners, that's something I have wanted to do for a couple years, minimum. Never knew how well it would be received because this is a weight loss channel. And typically the things you can make from the Dollar Tree are not going to be the healthiest or the most, the best thing you can get to lose weight, because it's just not. There's no fresh fruits or vegetables. You know, a lot of people like to eat that. I personally do not care for vegetables. You'll learn that if you stick around for other videos. But I do different things. I don't just do weight loss content. We do other things too. But me and my son were traveling to get my grandson to stay with us for the summer, and he was like, well, if you could do anything, what would you want to do, no matter how dumb you think it sounds? I'm like, well, there is one thing I want to do. Well, why don't you? I'm like, well, like I told you, I don't know. People might not like it because, you know, it's supposed to be weight loss. He goes, well, we'll eat it. I'm like, well, what if it's not good for me to lose weight? Why should I give it to you? He goes, Mama, we already eat that way. We call it poor eating. That is part of the reason I wanted to do it, is because I know poor eating. I know scraping through. I know hard times from a little girl into my adulthood at several different stages in my life. I knew hunger. Not to the point to where I went to bed hungry, but to the point to where I've had to use food pantries. I've had to use food stamps. That was back in the day when you had to rip the stamp, the dollar looking thing off and stand there and count them out. Not this card you get, you had to stand there and take your time and count and give them, not give them too much because you're not going to get the money, So when I say I know about cooking cheaply, inexpensively, poorly, I know. And like my mama always said, RJ reminded me of this. He goes, well, you remember what Mama always said, and we have said it. If something breaks tomorrow and I had to fix it myself some very weirdo way, it would be, well, poor people got poor ways. That's a poor way. That's not a disparaging remark. That is, if you don't have a lot of money, you find ways to do other than just immediately calling somebody or buying something new. I've gotten away from that. As me and David are empty nesters, I've gotten away from that a lot. But I feel like, because I know where it's coming from, that I want to share with you ways to stretch your dollar. Now, some things you can get at the Dollar Tree, they might be cheaper at Walmart, but I'm going to tell you what, there's some things at the Dollar Tree that's cheaper than Walmart. So maybe it kind of washes out. It just depends on what the item is. But you know what? Sometimes you're at Dollar Tree and you're in a hurry and you got to get home and feed your family. I'll show you. There's things you can pick up and make a meal. Is it going to be the healthiest meal on the planet? No, nobody's going to say so. So you don't need to come at me. I know this, but sometimes filling a belly, getting a little full tummy, trumps being healthy for the day, healthy for the week, healthy for the month. Healthy is feeling full when you go to sleep at night. And if that is in the form of a Dollar Tree dinner, because that's what you can afford, that's the only store you can get to, etc., 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 then so be it. You don't need to tell me about it, because I'll just tell you right now. I'll just like your little comment so it'll leave off my page. Or if you're hateful, I'll just block you. So either way, you don't need to come at me, because you're not going to get anywhere, because I've been there. If you've never been hungry, if you've never had to do without, if you never had to have poor people, poor ways, you can't comment because you don't know. You can't pretend to know what people like me went through, and people out there, millions, are still going through. We are in a recession, inflation, whatever you want to call it. I'm not political. I'm not, all the buzzwords, I'm not doing them. Whatever's going on in the world, our groceries are outrageous. And so if you need help getting a meal that you can afford that's going to feed your family's little bellies, big bellies, you know, a belly's a belly. If it's hungry, then that's what I'm here to help you with. And so I am thankful you're here. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. And if you want to watch other stuff, go ahead and watch other stuff. Listen, we do all kind of things, you know. So anyway, I'm going to quit talking. What we made today was, let's see, what was the first thing we made? We made, tuna noodle alfredo. Made a big pot of food. And then we made beef stew over rice. These are just simple. And then pancakes. Because who doesn't like breakfast for, I forgot. I'm going to show you. There was a little something. Whew, I'm getting hot in here. Let me fan just a second. There was a little something I was going to do for the kids. It was not in the, I think my first video I gave you an amount, but everybody knows how much Dollar Tree items are. And you can look how many items I got times $1.25 and figure out what I spent for the meal. Well, the milk and the grape jelly I had left. So if you have milk and you have jelly of any flavor, I wanted to give you something fun for your kids, because you know what? Growing up, we didn't have much. Mama, she could do what she could do. And so one of the things I've told before, she would make different colored cupcakes. So she would make us some cupcakes, and then she would tint the frostings different colors so we could have a multicolored cupcake. That was something that was in her capabilities to do, was to buy food coloring and to tint that frosting. So those are little things you can do to make things special for your children so that they don't necessarily know that they're doing without. It worked for us. So this is just a little something if you have and you want to add it to supper. I just wanted to show it for the kids, because you can do little things to make things special for your children. It doesn't have to always be some big hoopla. So anyway, I said it was the end of the video, but I will tack that on and tell you that is really the end of the video. So let me quit talking. Let's turn around and start cooking. Okay, you're getting a bunch of steam, and I apologize, but to start our tuna alfredo, we need our noodles. This is the wide egg noodles. It is a 12-ounce bag. I'm going to cook the whole bag. Now on paper, this is 6 servings. 2 ounces of dry pasta is a serving, but you can serve it up as many or as little servings as you need. So this needs to cook probably 10 minutes. I'm not going to come back and show you doing it, but 5 minutes, like there's 5 minutes left, I want to throw in this can of sweet peas, juice and all, water and all, because I want them heated through, and I like to kind of tenderize them a little bit. Instead of just pouring them straight out of the can into the casserole, we'll cook these when there's 5 minutes left on the pasta. And then after that, I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, well, I drained the noodles and the peas, and let me set that aside. We're just using the same pot, and what I'm going to put in it is a can of the Alfredo sauce. And this is Prego, so, I mean, it's good Alfredo sauce. But we want to heat it before we actually add it to the noodles, and get something and scrape all that goodness out. Don't leave any of it. Oh, it smells delicious. It really does. So you can see my burner's pretty hot. I want to add 1 can of tuna. Now this is where you can add as many cans of tuna as you want. If you're watching it, just stretch that 1 can of tuna. If you have an extra $1.25, you want to add another can of tuna, then by all means do so. We'll let that heat through just a second, because it's pretty hot. Okay, let's get off the burner. All right, now we will add our noodles and our peas back in. And we'll stir this around, and I have this milk. If you don't have milk, buy it, and that would be in your budget for this meal. You may not need the milk, but I wasn't really sure with that amount of noodles how far that can of sauce was going to go. And I will tell you, when this sets up, like you eat a little bit now and you have some for later, it'll thicken. So milk is what you're going to use to loosen it up. You could use water if you wanted to. Milk's going to taste better. And this is the milk they sell at the Dollar Tree. This was not in my budget today because I had it left from another meal. So that is how you can plan meals around some of your ingredients. I think I want to add some milk. I don't see how thick that is. I think that's too thick. You may not, but that's how you can build your meals around, like this ingredient. I've used it already in a meal, so I had it left. It needs to be used up within 14 days. So this was a perfect meal to be able to use some of that. Okay, let's plate this up. There you go. How's that look? Looks delicious to me. So our tuna noodle alfredo. For this dish, the beef stew, this part's going to take the longest. This is the rice. I have 1.5 cups. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. 1.5 cups of water. I have one cup of the rice, and I'm going to bring it back up to the ball. And you make as much or as little rice as you need. This, I think, is a good amount for the amount of beef stew. Maybe even more, just give you a heartier serving. So we're going to turn it down to a simmer. And because we're going to cover it, but mine's got see right there where the steam comes out? I don't want the steam coming out, so I'm going to put a little piece of there. It's not complete there. That's good. There we go. Now I'm going to let that simmer for 20 minutes. While the rice is finishing up, we're going to start heating our beef stew. We're going to bulk it up with a can of mixed vegetables, but I want to heat them up first. So I'm going to put them in here by themselves because it will take them longer to heat through to my liking than it will the beef stew. So I'm going to let these cook, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that. I'll bring them up to the ball and let them sit here and simmer. My mixed vegetables are good and heated through. And I'm going to go to the sink and drain off as much of this liquid as possible. Now we just need to add in our can of beef stew. The vegetables really bulk it up nicely. And we are just going to heat this through and plate it up. Here is now I had to go in and add a little bit more water to my rice because I don't normally make it on top of the stove. I make it in the Instant Pot or the rice cooker. And those are not things that every kitchen has. So I thought it was only fair, buy the rice the way it's sold at the Dollar Tree and make it on top of the stove in a pot. And that's what I did. But when I did that, I put hot water in. If you do have to add water, add hot water. Don't add cold water. And I brought it back up to the ball, which is, my stove cooks so hot. I don't think it was turned down enough is why it cooked the water out so fast. But it took almost the whole 20 minutes and it was done. So it worked. So here again, these servings are however big you want to make them, but that looks delicious. Beef stew over rice. All right, stay tuned for what's next. Tonight's breakfast for supper, and the first thing we're going to do is make our syrup, because unless your Dollar Tree has syrup, I know you want some with your pancakes. They did have brown sugar. That's all you need, brown sugar and water. Well, one more ingredient. We're going to start with 1 cup of brown sugar. And it's probably going to take a cup of water, but I don't want to add the whole cup right off the bat. I want to see. We're going to heat this, and we want to cook it until the brown sugar is completely dissolved. Okay, it has come up to the boil, and we are just going to cook it down until it starts to thicken up a little bit. Of course, it will thicken as it cools. Smells delicious. Okay, I'm not going to add any more water at this time. I still have it over there. I want to add some of this vanilla. Now, this is imitation. They didn't have any pure, but my whole life I used imitation and didn't know the difference. This is a 1/2 teaspoon. Now I'm just going to let this, oh, that smells wonderful. I'm just going to let this sit in the pot here and cool off. And if it starts getting too thick, I'll add water, and I'll show you along the way if I need to. Then we'll make the pancakes, and it's just simple as simple can be. It's just Hungry Jack complete. All you need to do is add water. This is a perfect pancake mix for that. No eggs, no milk, which we have milk left from other meals we could use, but you don't need to. It takes 2 1/4 cups of water. That's what's on the box because I'm making the whole box. I'm going to make all of these pancakes, and if they're not all eaten for a meal, you can freeze them. You can either lay them on a baking tray. Let me do this first before I stir that up. You know we have the vanilla already. I'm just going to add like a teaspoon or whatever to my batter. That's what I put in French toast, and it's delicious. So if you got it, why not use it? You can lay them out on a tray and freeze them when they're frozen. Put them in a bag. You can pop like 2 together between some wax paper, wrap them singly between wax paper, put them in freezer bags or whatever. Take them out, thaw them out in the microwave, cook them in the microwave, in the toaster oven. I think some people even put them in a toaster. So they won't go to the waste if they're not eaten for your meal. Or you can make them any, it tells you if you want 6 to 8 pancakes, 12 to 16, or 18 to 22. Now, I am going to cook mine on a griddle. Everybody might not have a griddle, but I don't have a pan that's good for pancake making in this quantity because I don't feel like standing here. If I had to for my family, I would, because trust me, I have. But since I have the griddle, I wanted to utilize it. So let me get that. Okay, I apologize. I did not buy cooking spray at the store because it didn't even cross my mind that I'd need it. You can get cooking spray at the Dollar Tree. If you use a nonstick pan like this one, it probably won't stick, but I'm scared. So I'm using my pan. Add $1.25 to your grocery bill if you don't have any pan spray. And I do sincerely apologize for that oversight because I don't want to cheat by using things that we didn't buy. So I'm just going to pour little small circles. I don't know how big the pancakes should be, but this is how big I'm going to make them. Okay, let's see. We got 8 this go round. I will continue making pancakes, and then we'll see how many this size we get. I'm thinking that might be just the right size. We ended up getting 25 pancakes. Okay, this is 24. Let me show you. This is number 25. That was the rest of the batter. So this is what I'm calling cook's treat, because y'all know this food is going to my son. So let me slide these out of the way, because I'm going to show you how I'm going to make it. This is the only way, when I was a young person, that I could eat pancakes, was if I had peanut butter. The only way. And that was like that for many, many years. But here's the thing. It's not only delicious, it does give you a tad of protein. I mean, granted, not much in what little bit you're going to put on here. But, listen, we'll count it. So, we just put a little bit of peanut butter on there. And then here is our syrup. It has cooled off. I'm going to pour it in this jar so you can see. I've not added any water or anything. I just have been letting it sit there and cool as long as it took me to make them pancakes. You see, it's a thin syrup. But you know what? It's so sweet. You don't need much. Now, if you don't use this right away, I would store it in the fridge. And I'm guessing you're going to have to loosen it back up because it'll probably set up hard on you. Pop your jar in the microwave, or if you can pour it out, pour your syrup in a pot like we had today and heat it up. But if you're going to use it now, it's ready. And you don't need much. Because like I said, it is so sweet. So a little goes a long way. There you have it. Oh, let me get that off of there. I licked my finger. That's all right, because I'm the one that's going to eat it. So that is it. There is our, and listen, this would probably made 2 more pancakes. So we'll say 24, 25, 26 pancakes. We would have got 26 pancakes. And how many servings that is how many pancakes you choose to eat. Little ones might not eat but 1, and grown-ups might eat a handful. That's up to you. So that will do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it gave you some inspiration. I really do. And I will see you on the next one. Okay, I'm back like I said I would be. This is what is for the kids. If you have the money, buy it. If you don't, you can even put peanut butter and jelly on your pancakes. That would be delicious. Roll them up, fold them up, whatever. I had this left from another meal. It's in the refrigerator. And I had the milk left. And I thought, you know what? You can drink the milk with your pancakes, but why not make something fun for the kids? So, pour them a glass of milk. And I just put a few tablespoons, I don't know, 2, and I melted it about 10 seconds. And we are going to make them a purple cow. Let me give it a taste and see if we got enough jelly. Ooh, we did. It's good. You might could put a little bit more, but I don't know. That's pretty great. So that's all you have to do. Melt you a little bit of grape jelly, whatever kind of jelly you have. Put it in your milk. There you go. Fun little something for the kids. Okay, now this is the end of the video, and I will see you on my next one.